Now coming to the ocean model. What is ocean model? Ocean model comprises of the big five traits of your personality, which we also call it as personality DNA. In personality development, Ocean refers to big five model: openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, neuroticism, a widely accepted framework for understanding the core personality traits that influence the behavior, self awareness, relationships, and career success. That helps individual leverage strength and manage weakness. For growth, understanding the position on these five dimensions, like higher creativity in openness, higher diligence in conscientiousness, that provides insight for professional and personal development, improving the communication and adaptability. Every human being carries five core personality traits which are in ocean. However, these traits are shaped how you think, feel, and behave, and the balance may different for each of the other person. Openness reflects curiosity and imagination in terms of thinking, how flexible you are, how open you are for communicating and absorbing the experiences you have. Conscientiousness reflects discipline and reliability. How much you stay at one particular site to trust or to believe and wait for the situation to happen. Extraversion is where you get energy from the people or from being alone, from the society or from being understanding or making sense of it by your own. Agreeableness reflects the kindness and cooperation, which means you agree and you also keep your perception. So you also understand the perception of the other person, even though it is not resonating with you. And what is the level of understanding or depth you carry along, cooperate or to collaborate with the other person causes the level of agreeableness for you. Neuroticism reflects the emotional sensitivity. Are you very conscious about talking about a topic, or you are okay with talking about any topic because that is not very much connected to you or not asking you to give your personal input? That depends on your patterns and personality and the conditioning, how you brought yourself up in this system and till this age based on the people around you and the environment you are being in. Now, let me go to the presentation and share with you what exactly the ocean model explains. Let me share the screen. I hope you can see the screen over here. All right. So let's understand what does the ocean model means. These five personality traits, the ocean model, is also known as Big Five personality traits, accompanying openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism, providing a comprehensive framework for understanding human personality, enhancing interpersonal relationships, and improving awareness and development. So, why personality matters and why we want to talk through Ocean about it. Whenever we talk about personality, we define it good personality or bad personality. Basically, it is to understand the positive and negative nuances of any personality trait that can enhance interpersonal relationships or workplace dynamics. So sometimes what happens is something which is good as our personality would not be helpful in the workplace. And that's where we have to add a dynamics through our capabilities or improvisations in our own default states that could help to become a good personality for that particular context or situation. And that's where we have to adapt certain things which are not naturally a part of our personality. And it could differ from context to the situation as well. Second is impact of misunderstanding traits. Misinterpreting personality traits can lead to conflicts, reduced collaboration, and missed opportunities for personal growth and development. So sometimes have you noticed when a person is not thinking in the same way how you are, there is a clash of personality, and this is a very common word which we use in our workplace or in social situations where we don't want to talk to the other person, or we might talk to another person because we are matching the personalities or thought processes. It consists of certain level of patterns and the values and personalities or the thought process which we have followed to get along a certain kind of person or certain kind of group. So when these doesn't match altogether, it is really difficult to collaborate. And especially when you are in a working place, you are working with different age groups, diverse environments, diverse kind of people who are carrying along their own personal characteristics along with a professional function, whatever they are doing. And hence, managing people is also became a part of being present in the workplace, where your personality plays a very important role to understand or to be understood by the other person. While misunderstanding can create a conflict, good understanding can help you to understand rather than judge or stay away from the places where you can grow more. Benefits of self awareness. Here, personality also helps you to stay aware of the situations. So, when you understand these concepts of personality, you would be able to understand what things you might need to cope up or to handle the situations where you are finding an imbalance. For example, you are a very factual and rational person, however, you are dealing with a person who is very, very emotionally sensitive. When you are dealing with this kind of person, if you are aware of the personality traits of each and every person, instead of judging them, you would be able to flex yourself or to bring someone in between who can handle the conversation or the choices of words and impacts that is happening to the other person, and can communicate your work or your way or your words based on what you are expecting for. And these things would help you to stay aware of your own traits as well, where you can stay and pause and not overlap on certain things which might not be helpful for you. So, cultivating self awareness enables individuals recognizing their own traits, improving the emotional intelligence, and foster healthier relationships with others. Now, what is ocean? Let's break down these five big traits. The ocean model categorizes personality into five key dimensions, which I already said is openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Definition of each trait. Openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism have a balance or comparative study to each other. Each represents a spectrum of human behavior, influencing how individuals think, feel, and interact with the other person. Importance of these trait variations is to understand the personal development, to improve relationships based on the context and time, and enhancing the workplace dynamics. Coming to openness to experience. What are the characteristics of high openness? Let's think and talk about high and low openness. As I said, we compare each of these traits depending on the requirement, and we can make it higher and lower in our reflective personality when we are in a dynamics of flexible workplace or flexible environment. So, first thing, characteristics of high openness. Individuals with high openness tend to embrace new ideas, experiences, and adventures, shows creativity and curiosity. High openness absorbs more ideas. High openness gives you a chance to take risk and give a chance to the other person to make a difference in the opinion which might not be similar to you. It broadens the conversations. It also helps you to understand why the other person is saying what they are saying. A highly open person would be able to grasp what the other person is saying without limiting themselves with what they have learned before. Second, characteristics of low openness. Those with low openness often prefer routine and familiarity, demonstrating resistance to change and practical mindset. This also works on depending upon the workplace. If you are working in a place where law is very strict and you have to follow the compliance, low openness really works well. It is something which goes by the book. It is something where you don't have to put your brain in. The places where service delivery or process management roles are there, low openness is something which has always been accepted. However, high openness is really appreciated in places of marketing. But finance would prefer a low openness whenever we are talking about those roles which are connected to accountants or financial executives. Real life impact of openness. Openness can be significantly different and influence personal and professional relationships, affecting the adaptability, innovation, and problem solving abilities. Based on the context, the whole situation can change. However, how that would be defined is all upon us depending on the context, time, and situation in which we are following the same thing. Practice tools for openness. Depending on what kind of situation you are, you can always practice a high openness and low openness. Let's dig into that. Introduction to curiosity stretch. If you want to be more open in your mindset, then you have to engage in activities which are designed to explain your perspective. When you expand your perspective, you would be able to understand the other person without judging. For that, you can join certain sessions or you can go to open workshops on weekends and get into a places where you don't understand anything, where you have been for the first time. This gives you a perspective of thinking about something which you have never thought. While you try to open it for something which is unknown, this would also help you to get into another perspective of something which you have already known. If you hold a pen like this, certain people can also hold a pen like this while writing. And even somebody can use left hand as well. So in the similar way, you can understand different perspectives when you are curious. You have to improvise and introduce your curiosity stretch to get more open. Now, weekly challenges for openness. You can participate in a structured weekly task that encourage exploration and reflection, fosters a habit of embracing new experiences and viewpoints. Observing reactions to new experiences. This is something by the end of any workshop or session you have attended, you can reflect and document your emotional and cognitive responses to the unfamiliar situations, promoting self awareness and growth to openness. Now, coming to conscientiousness. So, what are the characteristics of high conscientiousness? Individuals tend to be organized, responsible, and goal oriented, exhibiting a strong sense of duty and attention to detail. Conscientiousness asks for our presence. When you are high at conscientiousness, you are better organized, responsible, and goal oriented. You love to stay in present and try to exhibit the duty or attention to detail. Again, it also asks for the curiosity where you ask a lot of questions and make a lot of notes if you're highly conscientious. Characteristics of low conscientiousness. These individuals may struggle with organization and planning, often showing impulsivity and lack of flow through, through on the task. These people are more creative and imaginative. They can see things in their mind rather than in action. Whenever we are talking to certain people, we get a lot of what ifs. Although this what if characteristics is being useful in certain kind of roles, where we have to imagine and we have to try and work on certain projects which need a creative mindset. However, high conscientiousness is detail oriented work where we want to understand that imaginative part and have to put on paper. For example, programmers. Low conscientiousness is something where a person is thinking about a business or an idea which is to be placed and to be implemented. And that is where you have to be imaginative. You have to think about certain things which are not possible as of now, yet they are very important. And that's where you have to think creatively about it, where organizing certain thing or planning certain thing won't work. Real life implications of conscientiousness. Conscientiousness affects various outcomes, including academic success, job performance, and overall health, influencing personal and professional relationships significantly. Practical tools for conscientiousness. Let's introduce a three task rule. This rule encourages individuals to select and focus on three key tasks each day to enhance productivity and reduce overwhelm. So, whenever you try on three key tasks, you would be able to manage your conscientiousness and be present over there because you know you have to work on particular priorities. While three is a very simple number where you can do these tasks, although you can increase it gradually if you consistently follow a conscientious kind of work where your high conscientiousness is required. Benefits of focusing on key tasks. Prioritizing important tasks foster deeper engagement, improving performance, and allow for measurable progress in personal and professional goals. While you could be a low conscientious person, but this three task rule and focusing on key tasks would help you to align whatever you are thinking as creative, to bring it on ground and to make sure that this is going to happen. It really does help to align your day to day for what you exactly want to do rather than just thinking about 40 thoughts in a day. Building self trust through discipline. When we focus on our task and we implement those tasks, consistent discipline is something that is being created. It helps in completing the chosen task. It reinforces self belief, leading to greater confidence and motivation in pursuing the future challenges. Extraversion. Characteristics of extraversion. Individuals with high extraversion are often ongoing, enthusiastic, and energized by social interactions, making them comfortable in group settings. The person who is highly social and get energy from talking to people, these people are very outgoing and enthusiastic in terms of interacting with different kind of people. A person with low extraversion might not feel energized but drained while having these social interactions. The characteristics of low extraversion. Those exhibiting low extraversion tend to be more reserved, introspective, and preferably solitary in activities. Finding energy in personal reflection rather than socialization is their trait. Real life implications of extraversion. The level of extraversion can influence career choices, relationships, and overall happiness. As highly extroverted person may thrive in roles involving teamwork and public interactions. However, a person with low extraversion will be more focused and detail oriented where an introspection is required. To write down and to note the observations for any meeting, like a role of personal assistant or a data analyst. Practical tools for extraversion. If you want to make this as your flex, then you have to check your energy after social interactions. Do you feel drained or do you feel happy? Or probably you are feeling okay after 2 hours, but not okay after 4 hours. It is something where your energy is balanced, but you have to make a choice while you are working whether this is similar experience in your at your workplace or not. that helps you to make more better choice in terms of what kind of roles do you prefer and what kind of growth you are looking forward to. Assessing reactions to different environments. Observe your emotional and physical responses in varied settings to identify which environment enhances or diminish your energy. Understanding energy resources. Explore what activities and interaction recharges you, recognizing the importance of balancing social engagements and solitude for optimal management of energy. So this is something where you have to understand your energy sources. If you feel a 2 hours of solitude could help you and bring you 8 hours of energy, this is something where you are extrovert, but you also prefer to an introspection. This comes with a deeper knowledge and deeper experiences because everyone have a moment between extroversion and introversion depending on the situations they are into, and based on personal and life experiences this can vary from age to age as well. You're not broken. So whenever we are talking about personalities, we question ourselves whether our traits are good enough or not good enough. The truth is, the traits are always good enough because we are meant to be that way and we are that way. We are always unique in our own characteristics, and that is our unique trait to present in this world. However, reassessing traits in different environments is something where we can engage ourselves in different environments to understand more about ourselves. When we try to understand more about ourselves, we can get our strengths and weaknesses or the places where we want to improvise ourselves. If you like to be a marketer, however, your personal trait is not a good extraversion, you can practice more extraversion where you can spare time of good enough introversion as well. Growth through self acceptance. The way how we are is something we have to accept first to move forward with any kind of traits or the change in traits or bring a balance depending on what is your default state versus what is your practice state. We always get improved. Unless we are not intentional, we won't be knowing where we are going. However, if we are intentional, we can make sure that within next 3 months we would be better than today. Encouraging personal development. Highlight those strategies for fostering continuous growth and improvement through self reflection and goal setting, which you can do in every 3 months, and you can check yourself whether you have been improvised or not. You can answer the same questions you have written down today while writing your SWOT analysis. And you can go back and check whether this is covering your strength or how much you score yourself in this strength, that weakness, that opportunity, or the percentage of risk you can take for that threat. So we are completing over here our session of ocean model. Now we'll come back next with another topic and we'll discuss about it very soon.